What's up, YouTube? Just gonna do a quick video on the Smok Mag and a common issue that happens with this mod as well as a lot of other mods from what I've seen online. Uh, Pretty easy fix that I just wanted to share with you guys. I learned my lesson the hard way this morning, and luckily I'm mechanically inclined, and I was able to come home, take it apart, figure out what's going on, and fix it. So now I've got two, but hey, two is better than one, right? But what happened was I dropped it this morning getting in the car. I had about 10,000 different things in my hands and I accidentally dropped it. And I heard the tank smack the concrete pretty hard. And it was actually the tank that's on this new mod that I just got. The tank was fine. Didn't have any problems with the tank. Glass was in good shape. Everything was fine. It landed just right, I guess. But what happened was this piece. You can actually see on the base plate is nice and straight now, but it was loose. It was loose as hell. And what actually happened was, and you can imagine a tank sitting on top of this, and you could take that tank and just wiggle it back and forth. And you could see the gap changing in behind the plate and the metal cover plate. So the gap was getting worse every time you wiggled it. Anyway, you get my point. But the fix is actually pretty simple, so I'm going to start from the beginning and walk you through this as best I can. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. I'll help you out as much as I can. I don't check my comments very often, so bear with me. I'll try to do it as much as I can. But anyway, take your batteries out, get power off of it, number one. I went ahead and took the battery vent cover off the back just to do some minor cleaning while I'm at it, while I got tools out after it, and get all the pocket gunk and everything out of that, make sure that's nice and clean. But anyway, what you want to do, this plate of course will be mounted to the top. Let me get my camera right. Sorry about that, guys. I'm doing the best I can with one hand here. Let's see. It'll actually be mounted to the top like this, okay? When you take the 5 screws out of the top, just roll this back out of the way, and these two wires will be connected like so, okay? Your black wire on the ground tab in the front and your white wire on the hot tab in the center. What you want to do is get you a soldering iron, heat it up, and take a pair of needle nose pliers or something to hold each, one wire at a time and desolder it. Just heat that solder up and pull the wire away from it, let it cool. And just desolder each wire. And leave them protruding like that until you get done. And then you'll just have this piece in your hand, okay? And what actually happened is when that tank hit the ground, it pried on this plate so hard that it separated this brass collar. Let me get a little toothpick or something. Let's see. This brass collar, it separated this brass collar from this plate, which in turn made this loose. Basically all this is it's crimped together. There's no threads, there's no glue, there's no nothing. This plate on the top and this plate, this brass plate on the bottom are crimped together, and this brass ring is all that holds that tight. Okay? Now it's crimped really tight from the factory, and had I not dropped it, it probably would never come loose, so don't worry about that. But all you have to do, folks, is take you a pair of vice grips or a pair of pliers or whatever you have around the house, and crimp that back together. What you want to do is put one tooth of the pliers on this plate, and if you want to put a cotton cloth here on top of this between the jaw of the pliers and this piece here, you can, to keep from scratching it. I wasn't too worried about it. You see, I marred it all to crap trying to get it done. But I'm hard on shit anyway. I mean, that's the reason this thing looks like it does. Look at the bottom of this battery mag. It's all beat up. This thing ain't but 6 months old. But anyway, I'm not worried about it. Put one jaw on top of this brass ring, not up here, not on the silver ring, but on the brass ring, and then one jaw here. And what you'll actually do is squeeze that back together, and you'll have to work your way around it with those pliers, going at different angles, okay, and crimping that back down nice and flush and even. You don't want it to be crimped down on this side and raised up on this side, okay? You want it nice and even, like I've got this one, okay? make sure your ground tab, whenever you crimp it, faces like it is on this one, okay? You can see it's still got solder on it. That ground tab is facing the smok, or smoke, however you say it, print here. Make sure it's facing that direction, because when you go to resolder it, you want that to land right there. You don't want this tab back here. You want it up here. But just crimp that back together, make sure it's nice and crimped, and it does look like it's sitting weird, but remember, these mods sit weird anyway. The tank sits weird on them. But anyway, that's it. Crimp that back down, and then, oh crap, here we go. And then resolder your connections, push it back down. The wires will go back down inside here, not a big deal. Push it back down, put your 5 screws in it, throw your tank back on it, pop your batteries back in it, and you're done. And I do recommend, while you're at it, while everything's apart, go ahead and clean everything out. Take your battery vent plate off and clean all the gunk out of this section. Make sure this mesh screen is nice and clean so we can breathe. Make sure it's nice and clean up in here and all that good stuff. All your connections are clean. Check your batteries over real good while they're out. Check your mag and all that stuff. Other than that, that's it. That's the fix. If you're not comfortable with soldering or working on it or whatever, take it to somebody that's fairly mechanically inclined. Show them this video. They can do it. It's really not that much to it. I'm not upset about having to buy another one. I was kind of wanting one anyway. Wasn't an unexpected cost, but that's not the biggest of my worries. At least now I know this will be fixed. It'll be there if I want to use it, or I can sell it or do whatever I want to do, and maybe even get my money back for that one. So that's pretty well it, guys. And the good thing is that it comes with the star bit driver that you need to take the screws out of this and take this apart. It comes with that when you buy it. Now I will say this is cheap. This is probably the cheapest metal I've ever dealt with. One screw that's a little too snug will strip this out. It will round it out, and it's useless at that point. That one's useless. It's done. I've rounded it off already. But you can get you a little pocket set of Torx bit screws, or let's see. You can get you a nice T-handle set that has all the ones in it. You can find them. I mean, it's not like once you mess this up, you're done. I mean, you can find them anywhere. But that's pretty well it, guys. It's pretty simple setup. I mean, you got a hot and a ground, and ground is black, hot is hot, or white is hot, rather. Sorry about that. That's pretty well it. Don't throw it away, just fix it. And if you have any different issues, let me know. Now, as far as an LCD screen being cracked or something like that, there's not much you can do with that. It's going to cost you more to fix it than replace it at that point, because you're probably going to go through the factory and do all that crap. But something simple like this, something coming loose, whatever, 9 times out of 10 that can be fixed, even if you got to completely disassemble it. But that's it, guys. And like I said, if you're not comfortable, don't work on it. Send, give it to somebody that can or that will. But if you are comfortable doing it, that's the fix. Anyway, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I will try to check it as much as I can. I'm not the best at checking comments, I'll be honest with you. So bear with me. It may be a couple weeks before I get back to you. At the worst situation, I try to check it every couple days at least. But anyway, send me a comment, whatever, if you need, any questions answered or any help or anything like that. And that's pretty well it. Thanks for watching, guys.